Hey guys, James here of TCG University, coming back at you with another deck profile from our Campus Championship Series. We're going to do Bealkhor today. This deck got second place in the tournament, beating out, I believe, Asimov Katarina in some really close games. But let's see the deck list. Okay, guys, Bealkhor is a mostly unplayed character. It's a very underrated character. I think he's very good. So Tam agrees. In his little joke tier list, he has him at S tier, just for the memes. But he is, we do feel like he's pretty good and underrated. He's a 628, so he has a lot of health for most six-handers. And then E, your turn, your opponent's checks get -1 for the rest of the turn. So for every attack, he kind of just like negs your opponent's checks, making things harder for your opponent. And then E, commit, your charge or slam attack gets +5 damage, which means you just make your last attack really beefy. So let's get into it. Playing 4 Revoke for easy build and whatnot. Negate cool things we don't want to deal with. Stuff like that. 1 Quan Chi's Fortress. We get to pay 3. Make sure our opponent doesn't play dupes, doubles, and whatnot. And then once per turn, just gain a Vitality. Keep our Vitality high if we need to. Or just kind of sit there and wean in and out of Desperation. So on to the attacks. 2 Time Slow. I played the deck and I felt like this should probably have been a 4 of. I think this card's very good. It's very good with Bealkhor. It's Charge, Desperation, Stun 2, Stun 2. As a second one. It's a 4 mid for 6. 5/2. So it's a bad check, but like it doubles down on his ability because the static is while it's in your card pool, your opponent's checks get -1. So this gives -1 for the turn. You have another one that gives -1. Bealkhor gives -1 for the turn. It's just really strong. Other than you won't use the time end E because you're not time end. And then E, gain 2 Vitality. Remember, keep that Vitality number high. Now we're playing the best attack in the deck, in my opinion, that wasn't time slow because I only had 2, so I didn't see it, which is Thundering Impact. Thundering Impact says if its speed is greater than printed, it gets +3 damage. You give it +5 damage with Bealkhor, so like if you give it speed, it's a 12 damage attack. And we play, where is it? I'll get to this later, but Static Build Up, it gives speed for free. So like as our first attack, this just has 12 damage, and it's just nuts. If we want to do Bealkhor, if we're not doing anything else for the turn. Or it's just also a very good finisher as well. Has EX1, so we can get that speed on our own. Deadlock powerful 4, so our opponent's not allowed to build the deadlock, stuff like that. It's just really, really strong. We're playing one of Bealkhor's attacks, Death Seal of the Apocalypse. I really like this card. The no blocks what makes it kind of difficult to play. Has a static that if it's completely blocked, it still deals 1 damage during the damage step. And then an ability that says if this attack deals damage, your opponent commits 2 foundations. So it's like a pseudo stun 2. It's guaranteed to deal 1 unless your opponent does stuff to it, whatnot. Like for the Lilith matchup, it was really rough because this card just got sealed, and then it never did anything because I can't get the 1 damage because it's sealed. But like it's still a very good card inside this deck. We were playing 4 Flipcat. I never saw this card a lot. I just never had the momentum because getting sealed and getting blocked just never really produced much for me. But it has 3 abilities, all really strong. If you have at least 1 momentum, you ready 1 foundation that has not been readied. Really strong. If you have 2, you give yourself another momentum. Also very strong. Then if you have 3, it gets +5 damage. So like if you have the 3, you give it +5. It becomes an 4 for 8. You EX3, give yourself base 9 speed, so it's a 13 for 8. And then you Bealkhor, make it a 13 for 13. It's just really, really good. But you have to get to that momentum count first. 2 Coffee Sambas. These are one of the only 2 different attacks that don't have the keywords we need for it. Charge or Slam. But it's basically just loads our opponent. It gives us more options, does more things. I would actually, in my opinion, switch these out for the time slows. I felt like this card was a little lackluster, but I also had to play against Lilith, so like getting this sealed didn't do much. So it was mostly just a dead card in my hand. And then the last card, Flame Aura. Really strong. It's just there for the defense, basically. I used it to kill a couple times for 1 game. But it's really just a good defensive tool. It's a 1 high block that just says, drop our opponent's speed to 0, and then when somebody blocks while it's in the card pool, you burn them for 1. So like you get to block for free and then burn your opponent. It's a simply good card. On to the foundations. We'll get to the one I talked about first, Static Buildup. While there are no cards in your opponent's card pool, you give +1 speed to everything. But while there is a card in your opponent's card pool, everything gets +1 damage. Both enhances, both free, but conditionary. The 1 speed is very good because it's like a ramp. if you're already up and you keep getting up, you're not gonna be able to block because of the check. So like if your opponent never blocks, eventually they won't be able to, and you'll just keep that speed, and you'll never have to worry about them blocking. Or if they do block, everything is damaged, which means your opponent's going to have to block, and because of your checks, they won't get to, which means everything's going to be going through because you get free damage as well. Like, it's just very strong with him and him. Because we neg checks, we're playing Cage Fighter. I keep like scrolling down, sorry guys. Cage Fighter, neg more checks, basically. It's really good. Same with the Most Trusted Assassin, neg more checks. If our opponent checks bad, we don't have to worry about dying, you know? One last of its kind, pay to make sure we take less damage, and then when we're at desperation, give damage and whatnot. Deadlock also gives us damage. Same thing with like Outward Dares, pay to get rid of something bad, but it's at desperation. Face a monster, pay to block something, change zones at desperation. If our opponent builds the Deadlock, we force them to discard. Just a really strong card overall. Because we like to try and put ourselves in desperation, sometimes we're playing for arranging a deal. Nice, simple, just flip, draw a card at desperation. We're playing 2 Know Your Objective, more Speed Hate, as well as just having the ability to flip a damage penalty card at desperation, which is also very nice. We get to flip things like that new Energy Absorption, because it gives -2 or +2 damage, which just means we just get to get rid of problem cards and stuff like that. Note, this says damage penalty, so it also does not touch Punk. I talk about it in a couple other videos. Punk's not a damage penalty, so you don't have to worry. If you play Punk, you don't have to worry about your opponent like flipping it or negating with like Overage Dramatic. It drops the damage you would take, not the damage of the attack itself. So it kind of gets around the damage penalty stuff. 2 Evil Eye to reset speed and whatnot. I think this card's a little lackluster. I get the idea of resetting speed, but without being able to play the full ability on this card and not being the most amazing, I think Know Your Objective would have just been better, or just more face-up monsters. 4 Zero Nightmare burns our opponent and has a 6 check that makes us play more cards better, and we can just ditch cards to ready things, so if we need to block, we can. Same thing with like this. We do play the 1s and the 2s. It's like having the ability to, if we do check bad, ready is really nice, and having the ability to check our top card to make sure we don't check bad on our next card is very, very good. Thanks again for checking out the profile, guys. If you like the content, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. And as always, guys, stay learned.